Hey, what up and welcome to another episode of Creased. And if you have even been living under a rock, you probably heard the news. Nike is cracking down on resellers, and I'll be honest, like, I had a whole different episode planned. There's some crazy news, right? Because on one hand, if you're a sneaker enthusiast like myself that just buys too many for your own personal use, this is incredible if they can get it done, right? Because that's the thing. Can they get it done? On the other hand, you're like, why now? We're going to dive into it. So first reports were coming out of Korea that they've updated their terms and conditions. The only reason I can think that maybe theirs were updated first, or notice they were updated first, is time zones, right? Because as I've done research, and as you know, more articles kept popping up, North America popped up as well. I've since been on and found the terms and conditions on the Nike website, and I'm pretty sure it's international wide, like it's across the board. There is no get around for this. They are going in on resellers. What I've got outlined in here, let's be honest, I've gone through all the legal mumbo jumbo so you don't have to. It's interesting because this comes at a time where they're already locked in a battle with StockX, because they've been known for letting some fakes slip through. It affects Nike negatively and all this type of stuff. Then you had the ex-Nike CEO whose son was using her employee discount to resell shoes. So this has been like happening and gradually happening. So it's a weird timing that they're doing it now. And when I, did a bit more research, seeing what other people are saying and talking about, they think for the most part it's because now it's affecting Nike's business. When you're getting kids buying up all the dunks, all the mids that are coming out that money can buy, that's beneficial to their profit line, right? But when you have a recession that's starting to happen in the States, or a sneaker recession that seems to be happening globally, these same kids are buying up all that stock and then trying to return it. It's the returns that are costing Nike money. That's where the issue comes. If you return something here from Nike, they send you a label, a box label, and you send it, costs you nothing. Whether you want the return for a different size or a refund, they process it, refund you, right? That's how it's been. Now, that's fine, that's great customer service, but imagine if you're getting, I don't know how many resellers there are globally, let's say there's a lot. If you're getting, 100 people, let's just say 100 people, let's put it in real small terms. You get 100 people returning 20 pairs of shoes in the space of 2 to 3 months. That costs money. And all the speculation online, and even some of the wording in this new policy, leans towards this is the reason why. Printed out the whole thing, and then I realised that I only really needed like one page. So I will post a link to this. I'll put a link in the description, whatever, so you can read it yourself. This is the terms of sales, right? So they have a whole section that says no purchase for resale. Now, I could read this whole thing, but you could also do that yourself. I'm going to point out what I feel like are the most important things, and we'll go from there. So Nike stores, including any consumer rights or policies offered in Nike stores, are intended solely to benefit the end customers. So what they're saying is, I buy this shoe, that's for me, that's it, that's the end of the life cycle of that shoe. And therefore, purchase of products for resale is strictly prohibited. Now, what I've been thinking, right, for a long time, a lot of these resellers, making their money, doing whatever, they're not really the shady, go against the rules type people. They got this hustle, this little golden goose that they're working around. It's a workaround, right? But there was nothing really to say that was illegal. I'm not saying everyone gives up once they put in this policy, which at the top of the policy came in effect October 2022. I will say a large sum of people, purely on the fact that there could be legal ramifications, will probably give this up, but we'll continue. Purchase for resale means the purchase of product by someone who intends to resell the product to others, in brackets, consumers, businesses, or any third party. Incentive for resale: Nike reserves the right in its sole discretion as it relates to such purchase in order to suspend the application of any Nike policy that provides the right or benefit intended for direct to consumer purchases. So it's essentially saying, like, it's sticking up for us. It's sticking up for the sneakerheads. Like, you have denied me the right to purchase that because you're using this bot, right? You're making money off people's misery, which is what I've been saying for years. Now, we'll skip ahead a little bit, but this is interesting, right? Suspend the action, blah blah blah. And point 2, take any action to hinder such purchase or order, in brackets, and deter future purchases or orders, including without limitation. That saying there, right there, what they've listed, that means they can go on. They could continue with what they've listed here, which is pretty crazy as it is, in ways they're going to stop resellers. They could continue and go further, because including without limitation essentially means this is what we've thought of so far. It could go further. So, to restrict sales to any consumer account or member account, cancel orders, charge a restocking fee. Now I think JD in the UK do a restocking fee. So if you purchase something you don't like, you send it back. I'm pretty sure they charge you like $15. I'm sure Shay Cray from the UK has mentioned that. They don't do that anywhere here. But if you're bringing back like 20, 30 pairs a month, couple months, 20, 30 pairs in a year, maybe you should be charged a fee. So they could cancel your order, charge you a restocking fee once they've done that, impose purchase quantity limits, decline to issue refunds. Now, when I first read that, I took that as they've cancelled your order and they're not giving you your money back. But more speculation, and the more I've looked into this, it's more so sneakers win, they try and resell it, they try and take it back to Nike, and Nike said, nah, I ain't taking it back. And the very next thing that they say, decline to issue refunds or take returns. So that kind of makes sense. Initially, when I thought that, you know, an order online and then you got to return it and they say no, and or they take the shoes, they cancel your order and keep your money. I'm like, damn, that's savage. I mean, that's one way to get your money back, isn't it? Look, I ain't mad at it if you're gonna do it, but deny access to any Nike store and or suspend or close any account. If they're seeing repeated activity, if they know this person's coming in every week, somehow he's got the information from a cook group, you're banned. I don't know how that's going to work, because I'm pretty sure Nike employees are feeding the information to these cook groups, Foot Locker employees, etc. Right? So we got how to purchase, goes through, and then below that it's got our right to reject your purchase or cancel an order. This pertains to more of the reselling. So it's got a bunch of things like if you misspell your name and everything like that. But then it has your order. These are reasons why they may cancel your order. Your order is flagged by our security systems as potentially fraudulent, or an order placed with an automated ordering software or technology. So bots. I know it's not hard to identify a bot purchase. The guys at my local Foot Locker, when they get orders and they're orders are coming from their stock and everything, they just say it'll be like a letter, random combination of letters and numbers, and it's pretty easy to suss out. Apparently they're gonna have technology to fix that, so I don't think you need anyone, you just need someone with half a brain. Maybe you don't automate it. Maybe you do put a person in a position. I don't know. There is evidence that your order, single or cumulative orders, was purchased for the purpose of resale, tax evasion, or other fraudulent purposes. I don't know. Maybe someone has, bought a pair of Jordans to evade tax. I don't know. Although, if you think about it, how many resellers have an ABN? Or in America, an LLC? Don't know what it's called in the UK. So, if you were doing this as a side hustle, without an ABN, you're not paying tax on this, essentially self-employment. Could be that. Your account and or purchase history shows an excessively high volume of returns. So that's more of what we've been talking about, where it's coming down to the cost. Like, it's the mighty dollar, man. Nike stock prices, I think I posted it maybe 2-3 weeks ago, it's plummeted. Now that has something to do with the recession, probably has something to do with all these returns too. But don't get me wrong, when it was good for Nike, it was good for Nike because they just started pumping out mids, lows, dunks in a million different colorways. Who cares about the quality control? And we're eating anyway. Now we're seeing the downturn of that. It's kind of like inflation, right? Nike will determine whether any of the above events have occurred in its sole discretion. That's pretty much all I wanted to read from that, but let's break that down. So, if you're like me, my purchase history are going to be like 9.5, thinking I may be able to squeeze into it. 10's my normal size, 10.5 sometimes, and 11.5 women's, right? That's going to be my purchase history. The other thing that could help determine whether it's, a normal account or a reseller is, are you only buying stuff on sneakers or are you buying clothing as well? Because like, I buy clothing, I buy shoes, I buy everything, man. I bought a backpack one time, it was no good, I had to return it. Don't cancel my account. But if you're, random different sizing and all this type of stuff, and returning multiple pairs in a month, or I reckon if you've got more than 5 returns in a 6-month period, they're probably going to look at you, right? Especially depending what it is. If it's a return for a size, that's a little bit different. If it's a return because the new dunk colorway, you couldn't make $50 on it, throw the book at them. I don't care. Well, I do, because obviously I'm making this video for content, but for me, as a sneakerhead, like, I'm all for it. Do whatever you can. Throw the book at them. Make it harder for them. I think initially it will hurt them, because like we said, a lot of this gets bought up, and a lot of Nike does is based around hype. Hype is built by, can I get it, can I not get it, this is going to be hard to get it, and so on and so forth. You lose a bit of that with this. I still feel like it's going to be hard to get shoes, because even if the population can get it, because we're saying, sneakers win percentage is meant to be like 80%, right? It's more like 20, so we bring that down, we get it to it. It's still not 100% of people. 100% of the people are not going to be able to get everything. That's just the way it works. But I've said as well, if I can get everything, I'm going to be broke. Like, if I hit on everything, and I have hit on most things this year, to be fair, your boy a little broke, but if I got absolutely everything, I'd be broke. Like, I would have no money for anything else. It'd be strictly shoes. The whole room would be shoes, and like, I'd have to work out a way to make a base for my bed with shoe boxes. I don't know. The interesting one I've been hearing is bot tech. So I don't think you need technology to be able to do it. I don't think it'd be too hard to work out, hey, there's multiple orders going to this one address. One thing they did mention in one of the terms and condition pages that I forgot to mention, but they mentioned about people changing their address. So when you order through Nike, it goes through FedEx, right? And maybe a week or so before it rocks up, it says, do you need to like change it? Like maybe you need to reroute it to your work or whatever like that. I feel like the way these resellers may be getting around, I don't know. I haven't bothered. This is purely speculation, but I have a feeling that maybe they're rerouting stuff. They're putting some random address at the time when they win, and then they reroute it at, when it needs to go there to where they're all going the pairs. That's the only way I can see it, right? The other thing that they were talking about was rerouting for the sake of not paying sales tax, rerouting internationally and that sort of stuff. So you're talking about mail services and everything. Like in Australia, we can't get a lot of things. We can't get Supreme just off the bat. You need a mail service to do that. So they're talking about banning accounts and cancelling orders because of that as well. That wording, I could go into it and see it, or you could read it yourself. I'd assume that that's how they're getting around, not having 100 orders going to the one address. It's initially going to this, and this, and then it's rerouted to that original address. I don't know, pure speculation, but based on the wording, I might be onto something. But outside of this bot tech, outside of, rerouting and all this, how are they going to stop it? How are they going to police it? At the end of the day, yes, you can look and see their purchase history. You can see, okay, these people only ever buy from sneakers. There's no consistency with sizing. They're returning a lot of pairs, right? Maybe. You could look at, if we're talking about bots, if something is releasing through the GR section of Nike, right, the normal Nike website or app, say like the Chicago golf shoes, if people are purchasing like on the dot, seconds within it or whatever, chances are they're in a cook group, it's been told them about, they're preloaded with a bot. Maybe you stumble across it, but what are the chances you stumble onto it within the first minute of it dropping? That information isn't anywhere. That information is trawled through by bots and then preloaded into another bot and done that way. Just give me some money, Nike. I feel like I can solve this whole thing up. Throw me a couple pairs of lost and found. Like, I want 12 pairs. I'm not going to resell them. That's 12 pairs to wear. I will wear a pair every day for 365 days within a year. I'll do it. Like I've been saying, like a lot of people have been saying, they only really have seemed to care since it's losing the money, since this sneaker recession, since because for a while there, especially during COVID, like lows, mids, things that wouldn't really necessarily sell, they're really cheap to make, the profit margin's crazy, and they're selling out. We can't get enough. We've got to milk colorways, we've got to do re-releases, whatever it is. They're making crazy money. The profits went through the roof during COVID. Let it be known. It's plummeting now. Because like I said, it's kind of like inflation. Even though this should be sold to a person, they wear it because they're shoes. Wear your shoes at the end of the day. I'd be really upset if I return something because it was faulty, if I return something because I wanted a different size, or even there was just horrendous glue stains, or even like there's been times like the Racer Blue 3. You all know what I'm talking about. 100% you all know what I'm talking about. That's the Racer Blue 3. That's quite a dark blue. The images were a very, very light blue, kind of more like that on the prototype joints, right? If I get these in hand and I go, hang on a minute, they look nothing like the images. Are you going to charge me a restocking fee? Are you going to deny my claims? Like, it is up to the discretion after all. Will people that you're talking to have a quota. Who knows? Maybe they look into your history, check the sizes you're looking at, and they take that into account before they talk about a restocking fee. I don't know. I remember years ago when online sales were, really bad for retail over here because the American dollar was trash. We could buy a crazy amount of sneakers over there, get them here. Brilliant. There was a place in Newcastle called the Rock Shop. Now, they did Doc Marten boots. People would come in there, try them on their size, and then buy them online. They started doing a thing called a try-on fee or a fitting fee. So, because they knew what people were doing, they were trying them on, get their size, and buying them cheaper online because of the dollar. You want to try that on? Yes, I do. Come to the counter, charge them $5. $5. I think people were still saving like $50 or something on them. So now you're saving $45. It's kind of like that, but for a whole different reason. The big question: what will happen to resellers? What will happen to people that have brick and mortar resell sneaker stores? Don't get me wrong, I don't really purchase from them. I may attempt a trade. I have done a trade before. What's going to happen to them? Does it come to a point where if you have a Nike account, right, until that account for the month is paid for, Nike actually owns all the stock. So if you have, like, I worked in an independent store that had a Nike account. Until that account is paid for the month, or until it's sold or whatever, it's the property of Nike. At any time they can come take it. Does it become a point where the rules around that change to where Nike can come in and say, oh, that's our product, you're violating our terms and conditions by having them in this store, we're taking them back? Who's to say they can't do that? Crazier things have happened. If they can track an owner of a store, owners of a store, random resellers on Instagram, if they can track what they're doing on social media or a website or a brick and mortar store back to an account that is linked to a Nike account, and they can see purchases, whatever, who's to say they can't? If these pairs of shoes have been bought directly in the face of that policy, who says they can't? They're doing a lot of crazy stuff lately. They're going after customizers. They're going after people making, like, I don't even get the whole, like, knockoff, expensive knockoff thing. Everyone's trying to be the menthol one, right? But look, these people have been making money for years on other people's misery. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a scalper. When I was younger, you'd look at ticket scalpers, scum of the earth. It's kind of how I feel like they are. It's cool to see when it's curated, like, say, the Parks or Kicks TW, when you see all these shoes you've never seen before. But at the end of the day, it is profiting off people's misery. So I'm not heartbroken for them at all, because they've been eating for long enough. People have made millions out of this. So I don't really care if it all crashes. I'm seeing, apparently, I haven't seen personally, but people are talking about resellers are panicking. That sucks to be them. Get a job, just like the rest of us. Buy your shoes, wear your shoes, have a bit more appreciation for your shoes. Don't just comment on something that isn't selling as a brick. Enjoy what you like. Don't let the internet tell you what you like. Food for thought. Me, I can count on one hand how many shoes I've sold more than what I purchased them for. For the most part, it's selling to a mate that's the same size for a retail assist. They may sit in here for a year, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to wear these. I have sold countless shoes for the exact same money that I bought them for. Is what it is. For me, I buy a shoe because I want it, or in the moment I'm like, I think I want it. Then it sits there, I've got a lot of shoes, it doesn't get worn, it is what it is. I have never purchased a pair of shoes for the sake of resale. If you have, if you do, game over. But this has been another episode of Creased. What do you guys think? Pretty interesting times, right? Leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts. Can they do it? Can they not do it? Is it basically inevitable that the whole thing's going to crash? Like I said, inflation. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back twice a week. Peace. If Nike determines that a purchase or order is intended for resale, Nike application of any Nike policy. No, sorry, I fucked that up. Don't Floyd Mayweather me. But now we're recording a new one today and releasing it for the Friday, which will be when you're seeing it now. But since like since this